Boom.
Okay.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. This is Lou Martin, and you all know what I do. I'm a channel and a spiritual counselor, and I'm with my dear friend from the UK, Suzanne Holloway, who has also opened a channel, and we both thought it'd be a great idea if we would get on and catch up with everything. And Suzanne Holloway, good to have you.
Oh, thank you, Lou. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, or giving us the opportunity, to spread the love and the light and encourage people everywhere to connect with themselves, look into the guidance that is coming through.
Yes.
So hopefully today I'm going to talk a little bit about my spiritual journey
Yeah.
and the processes that I use.
Please.
Because a lot of it is all to do with emotions as well. We have to fight our way through the emotions to work out where our guidance is coming from, because it all comes through the same channel.
Yeah.
Or it comes through different channels, I should say, but it comes through our same processing system, and then it's up to us to interpret which part of us we're listening to.
Yes, yes. If I can, just to add to that, Suzanne, that's beautifully said, hon. To me, spirit is in peace and love. And so when we meditate, when we pray, when we quiet the mind, then we come back to that place, and then we're best able to receive the inspired thoughts of our guides.
Oh, absolutely. Meditating is beautiful, and the feeling of peace that you feel. And you're yeah, absolutely right. That when you are in peace, that's when you're getting the messages through.
Yeah.
However, in my experience, working my way through this process with
Sure.
the lovely Poppy and ASM,
Yeah.
there have been times when the voice that I've been hearing sounds like my inner guidance, because sometimes I hear a voice, it's my voice,
Sure.
and sometimes the what I was listening to sounded like the lovely voice of my higher self. The words that were being used, though, were not from my higher self, and suddenly I realized, actually, that's ego talking to me, disguising itself. So it's very, very clever.
Sure.
Very clever.
Sure.
So
No,
just
you're quite right.
thank you, Lou. So
Yeah.
just to introduce myself,
Yeah.
I
Please.
am Suzanne Holloway, the face behind In Safe Hands. And I have recently been, actually it was Jo, lovely Jo Makepeace,
Yes.
encouraged me to journal. And I said to her, I've never done journaling, Jo. What have I got to do? And she said, well, just put pen to paper and see what happens.
There you go.
So I did, and
Great.
what a lovely thing to find. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I sit down, I do my meditation, I connect to himself, come out of meditation, put pen to paper, and it just flows.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And it really is so lovely. And reading back over what has come through,
Yeah.
a lot of it certainly is the messages are for me as well.
Sure. Would you like to share some of your channelings?
Oh yes, I will do.
Okay.
I'll work my way through it, if that's all right, Lou.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say what a lovely live with Veronica that was.
Oh, thank you.
That was what a lovely lady.
Yes. Yes.
Very lovely. And
yes.
the thing I loved was the breathing exercise she did when she said breathe in love and breathe out gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really resonated with me. I've heard breathe in love, breathe out fear. But this one really, really stuck with me.
Yes, I've been doing that. I was doing that recently as well. I learned that from from astrologer said that recently. I thought, I'm going to do that. That's great.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
It really, really works for me. And as soon as I start that breathing process, then I'm just settled in. And something I wrote, actually, or something I do,
yeah.
that I thought I would share was
Yeah.
when I feel like I am no longer connected, even during the day, because we can connect during the day when we're living our ordinary life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a little bit more of a challenge, but we still can do it.
Yes.
So what I tend to say is, thank you, ego, for stepping aside and allowing our guiding light or higher self to take the helm.
Beautiful.
And instantly I feel that shift, and I've got to the stage now where ego's very happy to step aside and there's no complaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just get on with it.
Yeah. The ego controls us when we don't control it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I don't know whether I like the word control. To me it sounds too much of a challenge. So what I tend to say to ego is, thank you for your cooperation.
Yeah. Well, that's you dictating, deciding, choosing, controlling,
Yes.
however you want to say it. Whereas
Yeah.
when people don't know that they have that, no, that's a beautiful way to get into channeling. I really love that. And, control is a complicated word, but if we don't take our power, then the ego takes our power.
Yeah. Yes, so absolutely. And how many of us have lived it in ego for a very long time?
Most of the world, most of the time.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I am going to be reading quite a bit here.
Okay.
Following the guidance of our higher self or our guiding light can at times be scary stuff.
Sure.
Doing something we know will benefit our growth without knowing the outcome is like being asked to go out in public naked. And we must spare a thought for ego, be gentle, and acknowledge that ego plays a vital part too. And I was guided to do this live with you, Lou, or this recording with you, Lou.
Yeah.
And a part of me was very excited about it. However, my ego was pretty traumatized and gave me a tough time. There was lots of loads of tantrums galore. Who do you think you are? What do you think you have to offer that anyone else wants to hear? I'll be judged. I can't bear it. Don't do it.
Right.
So,
right.
What I did.
Bless you. You're not alone with any of that. I promise you. Yeah. Sadly. Yeah.
The process I use is I sat the ego down, and when I say I mean my adult me, and I sat ego down and I said, thank you, ego, for turning up.
Right.
I acknowledge your fear, and I'm so proud of you for cooperating so beautifully with all the big changes that have occurred within us over these last few years. I know you have stepped aside and accepted that our higher self now guides us. If you continue to allow the higher part of us to come forward today, all will be well. So
Beautiful.
It worked beautifully. I feel calm and relaxed.
Good. Good.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
So that actually brings me on to a prayer that I channeled.
Yeah.
When you came to mind, and I thought, oh gosh, I want to get in contact with you.
Yeah.
A prayer. I channeled a prayer, so I thought, oh, this is a lovely way. I was going to finish with it, but something said, no, start,
right,
because this is really what I would like for people.
Wonderful.
So, may the life force that resides deep within each and every one of us now come forward and knock on the internal door that separates us from our higher selves. May all of humanity hear the gentle knock and reach deep inside ourselves with the courage and bravery to find the key that opens the door to our awakening. So our soul may lead us with grace and ease through the next chapter of our precious life. May the God within us give us the strength to put aside our ego and fears of the unknown and allow us to recognize and feel the true power of the unconditional loving presence that resides so patiently within us, waiting to be acknowledged and heard. Now is the time for us all to embrace this loving force and as a collective light up the darkness that has dwelled and shadowed this earth of all humanity for too many years. Let us not underestimate the power of the loving force that is and has always been with us. Let us give ourselves permission to embrace and bask in the unconditional love and grace of God.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank
So
you.
I thought that was a nice way to start, because how lovely if more people can be in the dwell in the peace that we're fortunate enough to have worked our way towards.
Yes, yes. Well, and as you're saying, Suzanne, yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was really truly inspired. You know, hun, you have just a beautiful heart, and you know, when we feel safe, loved, and supported enough in ourselves, like you said, to be naked to the world or naked to ourselves, to be undefended, then all this wisdom and love and courage and inspiration pours forth. It's, you know, you're saying it so beautifully here. As long as we're physical, we'll have an ego. But we're learning to take our power back from that identity with the mind and the body, and realize that we're a spiritual being having a human experience. And the more we acknowledge that and work from that, the freer we become.
Absolutely. And it's not always an easy path. You know, we have
No.
lots of I wrote something the other day, actually, that trying to find our way through the brambles and the dense forest of emotions is pretty hard at times. Pretty
Sure,
hard.
sure, hun.
So it is a
Well,
work in progress, let's say.
oh my goodness, yes, my friend. And now more than ever, isn't it, with the pandemic and people quarantined and the economy on its side, and everyone looking deeply in themselves and their hearts for answers and hope.
Yes, I do feel that this is now the opportunity for us all to do that. You
Right,
know,
I
for
agree.
for those of us who've got this time. I mean, you know, spare a thought for all the key workers and the shop workers and everyone else who is still, you know, working on there. And I
Yes,
quite often think how, you know, I feel very grateful for this time of rest, because I've been working so hard.
right, right.
Um, and, you know, when are all the key workers, when are they going to have all this time off to take time for themselves? And I really hope that they do get the chance to have that opportunity too.
Yes, yes. I second that, sweetheart. That was beautifully said. You know, it's the small things become large, and the large things become small. In this conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto, is the way it's been said to me astrologically. And as you're saying, hun, you know, people who you know, society does not treat with great reverence or respect or acknowledgement are literally keeping us afloat right now, keeping us from crashing straight through into Mad Max land. And the people that like to think that they're big and powerful and high and mighty, we're looking at them long and hard now and going, well, we're all in the same boat together, my friends. Are we all going to pull in the same direction or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I totally agree. Yes, I do agree. We are all the same. There's nobody should have any more benefit than anybody else in this world.
Right,
Yes, I
right.
agree. We are all connected. We are all joined.
Yes,
Uh,
it's a great humbling, isn't it?
it really is.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I'm just turning my heater off because I'm realizing I left it on this morning. There we go. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, carry on, dear. You're doing great. What's next?
Oh, thank you.
You're
Well, I want to
welcome.
talk a little bit about my background.
Yes.
Here I am now, just about to launch myself into the outside world, and it didn't.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
all power to us. It
Yes.
it didn't used to be like that. You know,
Right.
as a child, I was so shy, very very shy,
Okay.
and I would liken myself to a mouse,
Okay.
very quiet and hide. And you know, if we went to big parties or big gatherings, I would want to sit in a corner, and really I'd like to have stuck a blanket over myself and, you know, don't anybody look at me, and for goodness sake don't anybody talk to me.
Okay.
um So I have to say I have really come into my own now and changed
Yes.
completely. And I've always had a very vivid imagination as a child, always.
Yeah.
And I was told by teachers and other people that don't let your imagination run away with you, like it was a bad thing,
Oh yeah, terrible.
you know. But I loved my imagination,
Same here.
especially when it was being kind to me. Obviously, you know, there's a duality in everything.
Yes.
And I spent a lot of time in my imagination.
Right.
And, you know, that's where I saw the fairies and the elementals. And although, so it was like I saw them in my imagination, but projected them outside.
Sure.
So I
Sure.
didn't see them as solid, but I certainly saw them outside of me.
Yes, yes. Well, that's, isn't it? Can I just say, yeah, I mean, you have an amazing imagination, honey. I know because we've had some great chats about everything. And I relate to all that. I grew up living in my head and daydreaming and all that good stuff. And just, you know, what a lot of, Lazarus actually calls imagination the common sense. When people say, you know, have some common sense, what we all do have in common with each other is everyone has an imagination. And it really is our window to the unlimited, including spirit. And just want to make the quick point here that, like you were saying, a lot of times spirit will work through our imagination, and people, you know, have in the past been conditioned to diminish that or dismiss that. But no, that's one of the ways that spirit talks to us most loudly.
Yes, I find that actually. That's where I get all my the visions from and the pictures, well, especially when I'm in meditation.
Sure, sure.
Can
Yeah,
process the pictures into words. So
yeah.
although I can see it, or well, sometimes I only see colours, but it comes through, and I actually hear the beautiful words with a very, very soft, gentle voice. So it's however we process it and allow it to come into our consciousness. You know, it works. What
Yes.
works best for us?
Yes. Well, yes. And honey, as you're saying, with journaling or meditating or praying, you know, we're going into a state of acceptance and vulnerability and trust and feeling good and being peaceful. And that, you know, draws those energies to us.
Mm. Oh, definitely. Yes, it definitely does. And I think trust and faith at this time is pretty much essential, I would say.
Oh, well said. Yes. It's how we get to the future. Yeah.
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 Yes, definitely.
Trust, faith. And I might, let's put hope in there as well, because there's, as we're saying, that's so precious at the moment also.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
So that was a little bit of background.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've also had actually throughout my life help from spirit
Right.
without realizing what it was, where
Sure.
it came from, or and some of it really, really prominent. And I may have told you before, Lou, that
Yeah. Yeah.
when I had my little massage therapy room,
Okay.
or years ago,
Yes, that's right.
a lady came to me, and she was a regular, and she had a really, really bad stiff neck and back. And she said, I don't think I can lay on my tummy. And I said, well, don't worry. You can lay on your back, and I can get to your neck from your back. We won't worry. So as she was getting changed, I always used to go outside the door and just say a little prayer.
Good.
Uh,
Our secret weapon. Yes.
yes,
Yeah, of course.
it just came to me. It just seemed the most natural thing to do, and ask
Good.
for healing to come
Yeah.
through me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went back in the room, and she was on her tummy. She had managed to lay on her tummy.
Oh,
And as I was massaging her back, I could see just so many rose quartz, pink, luminous hands all over her back.
right.
Not just over her back, but actually going inside as well.
Right.
And I was in absolute awe, and I was amazed that I wasn't frightened.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
the feeling was so lovely.
Sure.
And I
Well,
thought, well,
you asked for the help, they say, right?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And how, you know, I didn't realize how powerful that was then.
Sure.
To
Sure.
just ask.
Yes. Yes. It is. I love what you were saying here. Forgive me for interrupting, but it is so simple, and yet we confuse ourselves, we terrify ourselves, we doubt ourselves. But it is so simple when we do it, isn't it?
Yes, when we know,
Right.
when we know.
Right.
And
Right.
gosh, I really would like children to be able to understand all this from a very young age. How helpful it would be for them.
Oh my God, yes. Life changing, as you're saying. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it really, really would. And I have actually been guided to um formulate a book,
Great.
and I want to make it as simple as I possibly can, so that everybody, children included, parents of young children, can understand it.
Sure. Sure. Good.
Can understand this process, what our emotions are and what they mean, the messages they're bringing to us, and so on and so forth. And the a process that I do to help me get through it, or a process that I've actually learnt
Yeah.
just recently, the last few years. And I think the most prominent help that I had, that really was literally in my face, was I was driving along a road in Devon, and it was a narrow road, but you could get past the car. And I was following a car, and I thought, oh, I really want to get past this person, as we do, missing patient, and knowing that I shouldn't really, because this probably isn't as safe as I'm being told it is by my impatience. So down into third gear, indicate, and all of a sudden this, again, luminous pink hand, beautiful rose pink hand, came through the sidebar of my car. And as I saw it, I heard the words, "No." And well, I was so shocked. Obviously, I didn't overtake.
Right. One
You know,
imagines, yes.
and then along came a car in the opposite direction.
Of course, of
You
course.
know,
A second later, right?
wow. And I
Yeah.
sat back, and I thought, I don't know what that was, but that has just saved my life.
Yes. Well, now, of course, you do know what it was.
Now, of course, I do know.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, definitely.
Well,
So I carried on, and I lived in this happy world for
yeah.
many years, and encouraged it. Sometimes I listened to the guidance, mostly I didn't. And I tested it, as we all do. What is this? How does it know? And what is it?
Sure.
So when I got to the age of 42, that actually all changed. And
Okay.
the only way I can describe it is that I was picked up out of the life that I was in,
Yes.
or the place I was in, and dropped in hell.
Oh, well, that'll get your attention.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was the most terrifying experience that I've ever lived through. So
Yeah.
I
That's what we
went,
call the hard way, dear.
yeah. Well, goodness me, I really hope that nobody, well, I know that a lot of people are in that dark place right this very minute.
Sure. But I love the point you're making. I mean, I've been through my dark night of the soul. Everyone gets to go there, of course, because we do have free will, and we are, particularly in this time, learning to dance between our logical mind and our intuitive and spiritual heart. And as you say, faith and trust and hope, these kinds of things are not qualities that the logical mind understands. It's what our heart understands through us. So often we have to go through these intense clearing processes, of course, to let go of all the grief, anger, and sorrow that's in the way of trusting our heart.
Well, it was, I don't know about releasing it all. It was almost like it was all came to me.
Well, that's one way to confront it, and then you have to deal with it, right?
Absolutely. Well, of course, I had no idea what it was. So I went from my really loving voice and critical but fair voice into this aggressive and or hearing this aggressive and abusive voice. I'd never ever been spoken to like that before, not by anybody. So it was so unfamiliar. It was very, very shocking.
Right.
Very.
Well, you were extra tough, so they had to really turn up the volume, I guess.
Wow. You
Yeah.
know, honestly, I didn't know what was going on at the time. Of course, nobody else knew either. How long ago was that? Oh, 12, 15 years ago, maybe. And I had no explanation from anybody, that
Sure.
nobody knew what it was. So I just ploughed on the very best I could, tried to be as normal as I could. You know, the outside world wouldn't have known what was going on in my inside world.
Yeah.
And I didn't, to me, my inside world was the outside world.
Well, that's honestly, I mean, of course, that's everyone's experience is unique, and yet there are, you know, these huge common denominators and road signs on the journey that we all get to encounter or confront. And, you know, basically what I heard you saying is, you know, when you felt that you were thrown into hell, was the voice there before that or after that, or how did that unfold?
Oh, I've always had a voice in my head, always, but it was
Yes.
always very nice. It just was replaced. This lovely voice was replaced by this aggressive, abusive voice.
Because you found yourself in a huge challenging situation, or that's what put you in that situation, you feel?
I think because I found myself in
Right.
huge, challenging
Yeah,
situations.
that would have been my guess, Suzanne. Honestly, I mean, this is, yeah, Eckhart Tolle, it talks about the voice in the head, and he says basically, like we're talking about the ego versus the higher self, you know, and your beautiful channelings here. It's if we think, you know, like we're talking about people going through the dark night of the soul right now. Of course, if we think, well, the Course in Miracles says, if we're afraid, we know we're relying on our own resources. If we ask for help, we're acknowledging that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So if we're afraid, then of course we have crazy voices trying to protect us and beat us up and all sorts of things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was it. Yeah, that was exactly it. And it was like it happened overnight. And the first night that I felt very, very anxious and terrified, um, Steve was away at the time. Actually, he just started a month away, and all I kept saying was, "Stay in the light, stay in the light." So I put this my husband's or Steve's light over my head, literally, to sleep in the light. And it was almost like I had an out of body experience, and I could see my body laying on the bed,
Yeah,
and this beautiful figure kneeling beside it. And again, it was rose quartz pink, so it was
right.
just the outline of a figure, and it was praying over my body.
Yeah, yeah.
And over the 3 consecutive nights, I saw it again, but it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller until all of a sudden it disappeared.
Well,
And
you knew the help was there, so I don't think you needed it in that way after that.
well, I just had no idea what it was, and maybe other people don't understand it either.
Well,
So
yeah, babe. But I mean, I think, bless your heart, I just adore you, Suzanne. You're just such an open book. God love you, hon. You know, I think you could take the word almost out of that sentence a minute ago. You did have an out of body experience. You did see through the eyes of your spirit. You were shown that you were being helped through this. You know, and whether we understand it all in our mind and our ego, you know, it's still there, and it's still something that's working on us until we're ready to be open to what it might be, you see.
yes, so that does make perfect sense, because yes, I saw. Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I know what I saw. I was actually looking down on it. Yeah, definitely. And
So you knew you were not alone is the good point here, and you knew there might be somebody who was caring about you and caring for you and looking after
no, no, I didn't. No, I could see this being, but no, I had no idea what it was, and I felt alone. I felt like a shell.
you. Well,
So
okay, you didn't accept the gift right away, but the gift was given, and eventually the penny dropped.
yes,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
oh yeah, yes.
You know,
Eventually, well, it took a long time. I can tell you that.
sure,
Um,
sure. But this is such a rich conversation, sweetheart, because you and I know, because we've had many wonderful chats together, and you have, I'm just so proud of you. You've really come into your power, you know.
Thank
Sure. And I'm thrilled that Joe and I get to play any small part of it, but it is, isn't it? It is about accepting the truth as we understand it, and letting go of the need for proof and everyone else's acceptance of what we're experiencing. It's very subjective.
Absolutely. And I think once we realize that we can trust ourselves, that
Yes.
we are not alone. We're not expected to walk through this journey just as this physical being with no guidance.
Right.
Once we realize that, what a wonderful realization.
Yes, dear. Then everything changes, you see.
Oh,
That is
good.
the shift right there, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Yes,
it, sometimes we do need help.
of course. And
Sometimes we need
y-
help.
yes, all of us. And that's what Spirit waits for, is our open hearts asking and feeling deserving of receiving.
Oh, well, that's, yeah. Yes, I totally agree with that. And I feel that that is when you're driven to look at something, or something pops up, and my example of that would be Poppy on Facebook, Poppy Sprague. And, I didn't know anything about her. And there she was. And, oh, I was so drawn to this lady. And, she was talking about her course. And I've got to do that. So it took me a little while, because I was still living in fear, and is she who she says she is, and blah blah blah.
Sure.
How the voice goes.
Yes, I do.
Well, anyway, I enrolled in the course, and that was great. And that actually is where I met you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I enrolled in Poppy's course because I was fascinated with the psychology.
Yes.
What she was saying.
Yeah.
And then you appeared in the quote Q&A lives with Poppy, that we used to have the split screen and do it like that.
Right, right.
And I was mesmerized by your energy. And I think it was, well, I know it was you that somehow showed me the key to the spiritual part of me.
Well, bless your heart. Now you're just spoiling me rotten. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's the truth. We've spoken many times like this, and you've helped me understand an awful lot. And I remember one time the questions I was asking you left you absolutely frazzled. And
Well, you've come a long way, my friend. You see, you really are living from your heart, Suzanne. And just the inspiration to get on here today. Sorry, I'm interrupting again, but just want to say this, honey. That of course, this is our year anniversary where we all met each other in Denmark, which was so special to all of us, and where Joanne and I connected, which has been an amazing journey over the last year. And we've been out to you and Stephen twice now, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And I look forward to the next time when we're given the all clear over here. But yeah, sweetheart, you really see, this is it. Your great story there of the guides by your bed praying for you. The energy waits for us to be open to it, and then it works its magic on each of us. And the analogy I always use is the fence. I'm either on the side of fear and doubt and worry, or trust and love and gratitude, like we were saying earlier about breathing in gratitude and breathing out love, or the other way around. So yeah, there's this whole awakening happening right now, as you and I know, on the planet, because of everything, and in relationship to everything. And there's a great polarization happening, is the way it's been explained to me. My guides call it the clash of the paradigms, which is the head versus the heart. And, we're being asked to bring them together. So, I just couldn't be happier to help you shine your light and share your love and cheer you on, and hear your great channelings. You're doing amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, I do feel very, very privileged to have you and Poppy in my life. Very grateful. In fact, you're both on my gratitude list every day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, no,
Thank you.
it's a wonderful thing. Well, this is where all the vivid visions started, actually, in 2018.
Okay.
So I guess that's when my heart started to open, my mind started to open. And what an experience. My goodness me, it's something that I will never, ever forget. And I cherish, and the feeling of love I get from it whenever I think about it is just incredible.
Wow.
And I just feel so privileged to have been able to experience it the way I did. And maybe it was a gift for me to say thank you for going through the darkness and actually finding the light,
Sure.
or seeking it.
Yeah. Well, bless you. I mean, it's true for all of us. My awakening also happened out of despair and hopelessness, and smoking weed for a decade, and my life getting no better and nothing changing, and not knowing where I was going or what I was doing. And as you and I are saying here, to anyone who has the ears to hear us, you just got to open your heart, folks, and God will step in and show you the way. And it is unbelievable to someone who hasn't experienced it. It is indescribable, because it's really not of this world. It is transcendent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And really, the words "just open your heart." I wouldn't have known how to do that. I
Right.
just wouldn't have known.
Right.
And the simple answer to that, I know, but the simple answer to that is just ask. Just
Yes.
ask.
Yes. Well, anything that's beautiful, Suzanne. Anything. See, we really are love. Let's make it very simple for all of us here. We really are love, and like this is what Marianne Williamson says. We know we're love, and when we come to the world, then we learn about fear. And in learning about fear, we forget about love. And then challenge and crisis, chaos and crisis, brings us all to our knees, like we're saying here, and we find the limits of our own resources and powers, and we still have needs and pain and fear to overcome, and we want to take care of each other and our family and friends, and we want to be of good use to the world. That's when, like we started off here today, we need to put our bloated nothingness, is Michael Beckwith's phrase for the ego, our exaggerated illusion of who we think we're not, and put that on the altar, and then say, okay, God, I've reached my limit. Your turn. Yeah. And see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, that is lovely, Lou. I love the way you put that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that, that is really what happened to me. It's sort of like, well, this way isn't working, so let's do something different.
Exactly. It's a radical idea. Yes. Yes.
Well, it was, if I can take you through this time, and I might have told you before, but I'm not sure that anybody else has,
go ahead.
Many people have heard.
Yeah, honey.
But they, the very first time I realized that there was somebody, something, some energy with me, was when I'd started in ASM, and I'd met you, or learnt about you, and I was in a dream, and I remember being with my son, and I won't go through the whole dream, but I was saying to him, whatever happens, don't open your eyes. And I held his hand and I said, whatever happens, don't open your eyes. And then all of a sudden I was conscious of me being asleep, although I was conscious.
Yes, lucid dreaming.
Yes.
Awake in your dream.
Awake in my dream. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was aware of this energy. I felt it, this physical energy come to my right side. And it said to me, whatever you do, whatever happens, don't open your eyes. And all of a sudden I saw this big black cloud coming towards me. And I remember saying, oh no, not the darkness. I can't go through the darkness again. And it just said, whatever happens, don't open your eyes. I am here. I won't leave you.
Yes, there you go.
And the blackness came, and my heart was pounding, and I desperately wanted to open my eyes.
Of course.
And I just said, I don't want the darkness. I don't want the darkness. And this being said to me, do you trust me?
Yeah.
And I suddenly felt peace and said yes.
Beautiful.
So I thought, right, let's just do it. And the darkness came and came and came. It consumed me, and then it went right past.
Right. Right.
And I felt so peaceful afterwards. And that was the time that I thought, I've got to start listening to this. You know.
This is smarter than I am.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then we
Beautiful.
I
That was great. That was gorgeous. Thank you.
oh,
That's
thank you.
very powerful.
Well, God, there's just many like it. And
Sure.
I had a recurring dream and fear. I woke up fearful and anxious. So, you know, heart pounding again. And oh dear. Well, this particular time, there's this dream again, but the ending was so different. It was almost like I had an out of body experience, and this being was saying to me, run. Now is the time to run. And now is the time to be a superhero. And
Wow.
I found myself jumping over cars and doing somersaults, and
Great.
found safety in a room that, you know, the door was open, that normally in my dream the door would be locked,
Okay.
but it was open. I felt safe, and again, so different when I woke up. And it was that day that I went for a walk. It was raining, so I had my coat on, all my waterproof trousers and what have you.
Right. Right.
Very open space that I walked in.
Yeah.
And as I was walking along, I'd only just started on my walk, and I felt shivering up my neck, and I thought, ooh, don't like that. So I turned around to make sure that there was nobody there, and I knew there wasn't anybody there. Anyway, it kept happening. I thought, oh, I don't like that. And that's the feeling I had when I started to feel poorly the first time, this feeling that somebody was right close to me. And this, again, this lovely voice said to me, don't keep turning around, you're giving it power.
Right.
And that is when I said, what is that? And all of a sudden I got the answer, and I said, I know what you are. You are fear, and you're trying to reinstate yourself
Right.
after that dream we had last night.
Right. Right. Right.
And then it shot round, so it came from the back of me to the front, and it was a black shadow. I could actually see this black shadow.
Right.
And so although I'm seeing it in my mind, I'm projecting it to the outside of me.
Yeah.
And it was wringing its hands, and it was saying, oh, don't leave me, don't leave me. And I said, but fear, you don't need to be with me all the time.
Yeah.
If you're with me all the time, how will I know when there is real danger?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, I was talking to it, and I really saw fear as fearful, which changed my perception of it.
Yes.
And I felt sorry for it.
Yes.
I was no longer afraid of it. I
Right.
felt sorry for it.
Right.
And I said to it, what are you doing in this black? Take this black off. So we unzipped the black, and there it was, its true colours, its beautiful amethyst purple. And I said, you know, what are you doing in that black, fear? This is the true you, and you're free to go.
Wow.
So as it went to go, hang on a minute, it's handcuffed to me. And first of all, I thought, ooh,
Interesting.
it was amazing. And I thought, oh no, it's handcuffed to me. And immediately I thought, no, if I think of it that I have handcuffed fear to me, then I have the power to release it.
There you go.
So we took the handcuffs off. Wow. And I have to say, I was a little bit sort of, if I let fear go, does that mean that the fight or flight in me won't help me? And I thought, of course it will. So I sort of affirmed and said, you're free to go and come back when I need you.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, anxiety came along, and other emotions.
Right.
What we would call negative emotions. And I thought, well, let's let you go.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I had this idea of bringing in fear and anxiety's counterpart. So I asked love to come and be with fear, and peace to come and be with anxiety.
Great.
And say, you know, teach them how to be free.
Perfect.
Then I saw in my mind, like a horseshoe in my mind, of all these individual cells and all my emotions in these cells. And I said to love and peace, you're not even free, are you? I said, no. I thought, come on, let's just open all these doors. So I unlocked all the doors, all the emotions came out. It was like a long queue. And they were all, take this black off me, take this black off me, set me free, set me free. So we did that. I thought, wow, gosh. And I suddenly felt, so much peace.
Yeah.
And it was almost like the emotions were, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I just carried on walking. Well, I turned around by this time. And I said, if I've forgotten any emotion, please come forward and see me and I'll release you as well.
Great.
And immediately there's this little 4-foot emotion,
Right.
dressed in black. So it looked like it was the shape of a jelly baby,
Right.
but about 4 foot and I don't know, 3 foot wide, something like that. And I was like, oh, you look different. Okay. So I'm so sorry. Did I forget you? I was like, yes. So I picked it up and I gave it a hug. I said, let's get this black off. And then fear faintly came to me and said, what if it's a really bad one? So I stopped for a moment and I thought, yes, what if it's really bad? Never mind. Look, I've set all of you free and it's only fair that I set this one as well.
Right.
So I took the black off, and if you can imagine a pop-up tent,
Okay.
it just exploded out of the black, and it was like 300 feet high. Wow. And so wide. And it was rose quartz pink, and again, it was just the outline. And I was like, wow, you are huge. You are so big. And I was looking up at it. I said, you're beautiful. I don't know what emotion you are. And we carried on, and that's all I kept saying. You are so big. You're huge. And it was almost like it led me back to the car. And I said, I'm sure you'll tell me what emotion you are when we get there. So there it was. It was in front of me, and all my other emotions, they were free and happy.
Right.
And as I bent down to take my walking boots off, this beautiful pink emotion sort of bent down and put its hand on my shoulder and said, I'm your guiding light. And I shot up and I stood up and I looked at it. I was like, you're my guiding light? I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're so big. And I've kept you in that black, tiny little box, and I'm so sorry. And it was beautiful. And for days, maybe a couple of weeks, I could see it outside of me. Then, wow, I managed to, I don't know how, but it just was then in me, around me, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I could hear it within me rather than outside of me.
Yeah. Well, darling, I mean, that is one of the best stories, Suzanne, I have ever heard in my life. I have to tell you, that is one of the most beautiful, moving things. And what I just want to really, yes, thank you so much. Me too. Weep, because it's, it's my guides say, face your fears, feel your feelings, find your freedom. And that's exactly what you did. And this is the great paradox, is that at the core of our greatest pain and fear is the light of all that is waiting for us to be accepted back into our lives. And this is, I mean, you've described it just poetically and so beautifully, hun. This is the shift that we're working on making throughout the world right now.
Yeah. Oh, it was lovely, Lou. And it was like a skin had been peeled off my eyes.
Sure. Yeah. The veil falls from our faces and we can see truly what's happening.
Oh, it was the colors of the fields, the green of the grass, the blue of the sky.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I feel like I can actually see.
Well, you can actually see, my friend. That's the truth of it. Yeah, darling. Yeah.
It was just amazing.
It is beautiful. Well, listen, do you want to leave us with one more channeling here before we finish up? That was brilliant.
I would really like to. Yes, let me.
Yes, thank you. We'll have to do this again. This is the first of many. This is a joy to hang out with you.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Lou. Oh, here they are.
Sure thing.
Yes, because what I'd like to also help people with, and I can do a live myself actually on my page.
Yeah.
Is to actually go through the processes of help it, you know, releasing
Good.
past beliefs and what have you.
Good.
So
Perfect.
this is, let me have a look.
We'll send people to your page and they can contact you and work with you.
Oh, lovely. Yes, thank you, Lou.
You're welcome.
Well, so this is the 25th of March. I've chosen this channeling. I've just picked this one up, so this is one I shall read.
Okay, perfect.
The love of the light realms are upon us, bringing great peace, love, and joy. Release the shackles of fear that you hold yourself prisoner in, for it is only yourselves that have the key to unlock your greatest of love and purity. Ask your angels and guides to come forward and nearer to you, bringing support and comfort, so that you may find the courage to use the key that lies within you. Be not afraid of the unknown that awaits you beyond the shackles of fear. Step boldly through the open door of the next chapter on this magnificent journey that you so bravely embarked upon. You did not come here alone. You have never been alone. Your angels and guides have been with you, waiting patiently for you to realize their existence. Call upon them to hold you dearly and firmly in their loving embrace. Ask for courage and strength to release the familiarity of the feeling of fear and despondence. Ask to be supported and guided as you tentatively step into the unfamiliar feeling of love and peace. Relish in the delight embrace of this new experience. Relish in the delight and embrace of this new experience, and affirm that love and peace is from this moment on the place in which you dwell, and that peace and love, acceptance, and all that is associated with love and peace resides comfortably in your heart.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, honey. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Lou. Well, thank you so much for this time.
My honor, my pleasure, my joy. How good can we stand it, Suzanne? That's the only question, isn't it?
Oh, well, yes, I know. And isn't it wonderful? The more we feel it, the more joy we feel.
That's right. That's right. So we'll send people to your Facebook page and they can reach out to you to book a session.
Oh, wow. Yes. Oh gosh. Well, that'll be new for me. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm just setting you up. Does that sound like a good idea for you? Are you ready for that?
I feel it's something that absolutely, yes, I am.
There you go.
So yes, let's carry on the journey.
Okay, that's the spirit. I guess that came from spirit through me for you. How do you like that? Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you, Lou.
They're saying, "Let's go, guys. Let's go." Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. All right, honey. All my love, my best to you and Stephen, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Yes, God bless. No, thank you, Lou. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye for now. Great job.
Lovely.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay.